Welcome everybody as you are joining. Thank you for joining again. For those of you who maybe missed yesterday and are joining for the first time, welcome to you for the first time. My name is Brett Parry. My good friend Christian Horpiller, who I will disclose is at a beach somewhere in the south here enjoying the beautiful weather. How are you, mate?
I'm doing splendidly, my friend. And as you can tell, I'm not on the beach right now because the Wi-Fi there is not as good as I expected it to be.
Not as good.
And it was hard to take the studio lighting to the beach, so I decided to stay inside.
I
All
thought it
right.
was natural down there.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
to put to find a point on it, we are both here to join you to talk a little bit about global leadership and the seven traits of a good globe. Not limited to that, but we are both intercultural trainers, coaches, speakers, and we are here to just talk about a few quick tips as we go through this series of 7 days of 7 minutes of 7 tips. As you're joining here, thank you very much again. We have 7 minutes, so we are starting basically right now. Thank you for joining. And Christian, today is curiosity. So unless you are a feline of an indifferent disposition, albeit a cat, we are in no danger of curiosity. And
No. I've had a cat for many years. However, I'm not sure if that made me curious. I think my curiosity served me well. And as you remember from yesterday, we were establishing the 7 success strategies for global professionals. And for every success strategy, there is an opposite strategy which is unlikely to grant you the success you want to have. So today is Curiosity Day. As you see, the opposite, or the strategy that won't help you, is indifference. And I will not be indifferent about you not muting yourself, because I will find you and mute you if you don't do it yourself, in respect of everybody else. Thank you very much. So my curiosity served me well working globally, or becoming a more globally minded individual. And it started when I was 17 as a foreign exchange student. I quickly learned that curiosity is not killing the cat, is actually making me smarter, because I can find new ways of doing things. And what I really, what drove that home for me just this past year.
Hey, Christian, I can't hear you.
Christian, we can't hear you.
Christian, you're muted.
Oops. I don't know what happened there. We can't hear Christian. We can't hear him. I don't know what happened there. I didn't hit the wrong button, I don't think.
Still can't hear you, Christian.
No, can't hear him. Well, we're going to go, no, still can't hear him. I don't know what happened there. Technology is a wonderful thing. Maybe he can't hear us either, because that is not working well. Well, I'm gonna talk as Christian is there. I'm gonna tell my story of being indifferent. One of the things I did when I came to this country as an Australian was I had a preconception of certain political points of view, certain actions of the US, and I was indignant that I was going to teach the world and teach my ways from an Australian point of view, and because I was that way, I didn't open myself to new ideas. And then I found that if I was a little bit more curious, a little bit more knowledgeable, I would be able to speak to it, to a point of view, or a preparedness that I could bring in a different language in terms of my teaching, especially in the cultural realm. So I won't particularly disclose what they are, but there are certain differences between my country and the US, albeit some of it intangible. But these were big issues that were always a favourite of mine. Of course, a lot of my the learning in that area was quite confronting, but it didn't mean that I had to agree with the other side. It just meant that I could learn and be very curious about it, and open my mind. I was able to explain my experience to my clients. So this was a big learning for me, and And so we encourage everybody who is a leader, even if you're a leader in a local context, to open your mind to the wider concept of learning. And constant curiosity has always served me well. And for those leaders that we teach and train, that seems to be a constant reminder of their ability to be able to lead has been served well by their curiosity.
Now,
so you're back, sir. You're back, sir. You went mute. You went dead.
Now, this is what you need to be. This would be another success strategy that we throw in as a bonus in our in-depth program. The success behavior is flexibility. Technology sometimes is not our friend. So here's my quick story on how I discovered that my curiosity was helping me in a global context. I visited New York, specifically Brooklyn, this past December, half a year ago almost, and we took a bus from LaGuardia Airport into Brooklyn, and I hopped on the wrong bus. I got off at the wrong bus stop, and it was a Friday afternoon in the most Hasidic part of Jewish Brooklyn. So mind you, I am German, and I was in an environment that most Germans are not necessarily familiar with for various historic reasons that most of you, I hope, are familiar with. One of my family members said, "Oh, I feel so out of place here." And I felt, I really had to check in with myself what my feeling at this moment was, if I felt out of place. And sure, I was out of place. However, that was not the dominant feeling. My dominant feeling was, oh, wow, this is exciting. This is different. I want to find out how this works here. And by the way, we need to find the bus that takes us to our destination. I got to talk to people. So my curiosity took the lead, and it helped us get on the right bus and be okay with the situation. And I started seeing my teenage daughters seeing the situation through different eyes. They discovered school buses with Hebrew inscriptions on them, yellow American school buses with Hebrew inscriptions on the side of these buses. So my kids were like asking questions. What is going on here, Dad? Can you explain? Why is it so different here? So curiosity will spark not only an interest, it will create the learning you need to be more successful in a global context. So that's just one of the stories. I have multiple ones of these. Sorry for the technical difficulties. And as you can see, 7 minutes are a really, really short time to drive home a point. And we only want to whet your appetite because we will do that in much more depth in our online course, 7 days again, yet 37 minutes each this time. In the chat box, I am chatting to everyone, and you should see it in your emails that you've received so far. This is where you can find out more about our 7 days, 37 minutes in-depth course that Brett and I will do on the 7 success strategies. And with this, we're done for today. We'll see you again tomorrow at 11 minutes before the hour, or 11 minutes before the half hour if you're calling in from India. And we'll see you tomorrow again. This was 7 minutes, part 2. Brett, thank you very much for helping me bridge the technical gap here.
Good to see you, mate. Again, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.